Back Row Ministry, the world premiere. Mr. Monkey coming at you live and direct. I hope you caught my three-part piece on the death of the Blood Gang, where we talk about killing organization, destroying organization, and using entertainers to do it. Using entertainers to stop any hopes of young people being together. And you know, even a negative can become a positive, and that's the big piece I wanted to point out in that you just need the organization and good leadership to spark change. But if you destroy the organization, you destroy all chances for change to happen. So that was a big part of that piece. And then just the continued planned attack on the youth and any youth movement that they see associated with endangering the elite and the elite's plan. And using certain youth to do it. Like I say, when people want to be popular, they tend to do anything. Popularity can destroy. We see that with Jay-Z. Jay-Z is another one who just wanted to be popular. And now he's in all these stories, but he was the type to do anything for fame. And I'm going to say it straight out. He was the type to do anything for fame. I remember Jay-Z coming up. Jay-Z was the one who was pushed to the side while Nas and everybody else was getting contracts. So anytime you got people hungry like the Jay-Z's of the world, the Serenas of the world, you use these people, they make the best puppets. Remember how Serena wanted to win so bad and how she was so angry every time her sister won? And soon the elite saw that, they knew they had a weapon, because that envy, that jealousy is the thing that they utilize to turn people against each other, especially if you just want to be popular, you just want to be famous. So here we are with the death of Camille "Cupcake" McKinney. And usually stories like this, with some of the information I'm getting, some of the knowledge I'm getting, I don't really take a lot of time in the stories. The young lady has been missing for a minute. I look for certain things in the story, and a lot of times once I see the colors pink and black, I'm pretty much done with the story. That means that, you know, in my opinion, there's something more to the story. Why do they give a fuck about Camille "Cupcake" McKinney is question number one that people should be asking themselves. Black kids, Hispanic kids, poor white Caucasian kids come up missing every day and nobody seems to give a damn. Suddenly Camille "Cupcake" McKinney, who comes up missing, is now prime news. And you gotta ask yourself, well, why are they focusing on Camille "Cupcake" McKinney? So they give you a lot in the story. And it doesn't, I mean, after a while with most of these stories, it's not really hard to do a simple common sense decode. And you just take what they give you. They pretty much tell you the architects of the story right off the bat. Cupcake. Camille "Cupcake." They're giving you the architect. All you do is take the C and the C, and you get your 33 right off the jump. That's old school knowledge that my one man used to kick. He always looked for the CC or the 33 connection. And this story, they put it blatantly right out in your face. The CC, the 33 connection. You already know who's behind the Camille "Cupcake" story. The story takes place in Alabama. Best believe I know Alabama. I know who runs Alabama. It's straight up society. The society runs Alabama. Everybody is a member. Everybody is a member. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me that this is the focal point of the story. We got college football. We got Alabama's quarterback going down. So look for a lot to go on in Alabama. A lot of racially fueled stories. A lot of tribal stories. You know, just trying to come out of race and try to go into the tribal part of this. And nation stories. But look for a lot of that. And we go back to a lot of stuff that I think Brother Yahi's been talking about the Phoenix gene and destructions of the genetic makeup of African Americans and that thing that they need from us. But it's better to destroy the build sometimes. So if you kill off certain things, you have to worry about them. There's no threat. And the biggest threat are going to be young African American girls and young girls of certain ethnic origins that possibly have this genetic makeup. So think about the ritual. Camille's been missing for a number of days. I don't know all the particulars. I think the parents might have had something to do with it. I have to check that part of the story. But having Camille's body found in a dumpster, pretty much disposed of. The dumpster represents a place where you dispose of something, and Camille is disposed in this dumpster. They find the body on October the 22nd. You take the 22, you get your master builder number. So once again, they're telling you who's in charge of this story. The master builders are constructing this story. And we get Camille Cupcake, Miss 33, found in the dumpster. So of course, if you take Cupcake, you get 33. You put it in your gematria calculator, you're gonna get 33. You get 24. You're going to get 24, which is the reverse of two numbers, 46 and 40. You're going to get 42 reverse, which is the nigger number. But you also get 46, the number of sacrifice. 4 times 6 is 24. But you also, if you go into what Brother Yahi, and he does it a lot better than I can ever imagine doing it. But, you know, when you go into what he talks about the Phoenix gene and how they want this Phoenix gene and how they're willing to do anything to either take ownership of the gene or dispose of the gene, get rid of it. Remember, that scattered is 144. They don't know where this 144 is. You know, has the multitude of them been born yet? This is fear. And then you want to harvest this. If you watch the 100, they had season 2 talked a lot about this idea of harvesting. Season 2 talked a lot about harvesting certain genetic makeup, taking things like bone marrow. Because the big piece, if you watch the 100, things I like about the 100. A lot of the stuff you find that I know that Brother Yahi talks about is in that series. There's a lot of things in that series. And especially when we talk about DNA, gamma rays, radiation, people being able to absorb radiation and survive. So you have a set of people who basically survive because a gene was created by a woman. She created a gene. The woman brought the gene to society. They rejected the gene. That's what happens. They reject the gene and they burn the woman alive. But they come to find out that the gene helps them survive. Somehow, some way, somebody ends up using the gene. They really have not explained how the gene got used or who decided to use it because of the way that they really murdered this person who brought the gene to them. But the gene is the reason why humanity survived through the radiation. So, you know, we go into this thing about the Phoenix gene, the possible, the radiation coming, and them wanting to survive but not having this gene, and knowing that certain ethnic groups do possess the melanin that's needed for this gene. That's why the sun is so important. Remember, especially African Americans, a lot of minority groups, we have vitamin D deficiency, a lot of us. Vitamin D comes from the sun. So you're already learning that you get power from the sun because there's an important vitamin in the sun that we need on a day-to-day basis. I mean, when we were in our native lands where there were plenty of sunshine and we pretty much thrived on the sun, we didn't have any issues with vitamin D. But here in the wilderness, they teach you that the sun is bad. The sun's going to give you cancer. The sun's going to give you that. No, the sun only affects certain people who don't have the ability to absorb the energy of the sun. We already naturally have this ability. And when we don't utilize the ability, or we shy away from the sun, or don't get enough sunlight like most plants do, then we have this vitamin D deficiency. So we really have to spend a lot of time in the sun. So in the wintertime, take that time, especially on sunny days. Don't shy away from the sun. Stand in direct sun that whole time. Just stand in direct sun. Anybody who is one of the nations that has a lot of melanin, just stand in direct sun. Get as much melanin as you can in the summertime. Make sure you're getting some melanin. Make sure you're feeding your melanin with sunlight because you need that vitamin D. So we already have this power within us to absorb this energy. So, you know, what he talks about is, you know, people having greater power and ability than that to absorb more of this energy. And that's what they fear. They want that power because they want to survive. So the 100 is a great piece that really points to being able to survive this radiation, but needing the genetic makeup to be able to do it, and everybody doesn't have it. So the people who come from the ship do have the genetic makeup because they've been living around radiation their whole life. So their bone marrow could keep everybody else alive because they had it, but only to a certain degree. Too much radiation, of course, obliterates. So, you know, they didn't have the full melanin potential to be able to survive a lot of radiation. So, a lot to think about with this Camille cupcake story and the disposal of, you know, the carriers of this gene. Really, that's what I took out of the story, that, you know, they have to dispose of this gene. You might see a lot of these missing young black girl stories coming up as they begin to really attack the nations to try to dispose of as much of this gene as possible, because they can't have this 144 loose because the time is coming. Some of us are going into war mode soon, and you know, it's going to get really, really bad really, really fast. So they have to do what they have to do, but it's about survival at the end of the day. It's about survival at the end of the day, and that's by any means necessary. So, you know, this story kind of points at the mission. Get rid of this gene at all costs and possess the gene at all costs. Who knows what they did to this little girl before they disposed of that body. Mr. McKinney, Back Row Ministry, peace and hair grease.